Let's check out a few of the rose surprises I woke up to today. This is what I call Dade City Red China that my friend Pat discovered in Dade City several years ago, and he gave me this plant. I've pretty much given up identifying it. Just yet another red China. Speaking of, this is one that I found at a roadside nursery on the way to Okeechobee. Not much smell. Relatively simple bloom form. Bought 5 from my neighbor, and I'm going to buy one from my dad for a friend of his, and then one from my friend Mary Jo who's interested. Let's come over here. Overnight, I had a nice cluster open up on Nostrana. This is the form that Heather Campbell sells at High Country High Country Roses in Utah. Some people feel the true Nostrana is single. This is semi-double. I love the smell. It's a potent cinnamon clove noisette smell. As I recall, it's dated to 1879. I got to take a sniff. I can smell from here. Oh man, this is absolutely glorious. Not too sure where I'm going to be burying this bucket. And over here, got blooms that opened yesterday or day before on Maggie, which has been buried for about a week now in its water-wise container garden. Over here is one of the first roses I ever planted, just been uncovered. This is the infamous pink crack rose that I've been uncovering from the hell zone. And now that it's been exposed from all this, it's starting to bloom. Can't believe the abuse and neglect it's endured. And lastly, is a favorite from Colorado. It's a mystery rose that I call Joanne's Pink Perpetual, which is sold by High Country Roses under that name. It's a lovely rose. Beautiful form, wonderful fragrance. In Colorado, it sets some hips, not many. Here, I've never seen it. It's doing very well in this 15-gallon water-wise container garden that I just topped off with soil last week. Need to add some more to plant nasturtiums. When I showed this to Fred Boutine at Fairmount Cemetery, he agreed with me that the best guess so far is Champion of the World, which, as I recall, was a late-era hybrid perpetual. I think that's it. Let's check out front in case any surprises happened overnight. Here's a new bloom on Rosa bracteata, which I can barely manage. It may meet the same fate as did Mermaid, because I'm constantly pruning the damn thing and I'm constantly losing the battle. There's a bud over there on Duchesse de Brabant. Okay, and overnight I had some new blooms open on Teasing Georgia. It's doing a very light flush now after a massive one earlier in the fall when the cool down first came. I love the form and the color. It doesn't have that much fragrance for my picky nose, but I still love it. The vigor it shows on Fortuniana is amazing. Oh, here we go. It's a good reason to come over here. There's new blooms on Rev d'Or. One of my very favorite tea noisettes. Look at that. Oh, here's one more. Oh, this is nice. I'm glad it came out here. Here's the new bed I'm working on as I occupy my yard. This is the drought-resistant tea called Madame Antoine Marie. It was one of the very first roses I planted in a buried water-wise container garden after it failed to thrive in the soil. And this is a bed that hugs the street, so it gets very dry. But since I put it in a water-wise container garden, it's taken off. I'm always struck by the similarity of this rose to the pink cracker rose, but then the smell and a couple other features reveal that it's not the same. It's always intriguing. Now, a couple days ago there was some blooms on Marshall Neal. Let's see if there's any here. Oh, I see one. Here's an older bloom on Marshall Neal. Let's come in here. Yesterday I made a little bit more progress in the re-civilization of my yard. I dressed this bed, and where that ceramic pot with a canna is, I'm almost for sure going to be planting a shrub rose. I'm leaning towards a red. Since Marshall Neal is yellow and Barfield White is virtually white, I like the idea of the high contrast provided by something red there. I think I can probably get away with a second rose there without concern of shading. Once I get this pit filled in down here, which is where a jacaranda tree trunk is decayed, I should have room for another shrub rose there. I want to use it to enhance and accent the pond. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, look at that. There's new growth on Mary Jo's white climber, which is also in a buried bucket. At her house, it is a spectacular remontant climber, and my best guess remains that it's a climbing form of Puerto Rico, if there is such a thing. Or maybe it just acts like a climber because of the shade presented by her grapevine. Let's take one last peek at this Nostrana. Cannot believe the fragrance of this rose. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.